So when we met in October for the SGC, we identified for my class a focus on whole class around self-awareness and then for students. And so remember, we looked at the profiles for all of our grade level and found that my class had a really big need in self-awareness compared to everyone else. So I looked at my group profiles from the minis and screeners, and it confirmed that yes, self-awareness was an area we really wanted to focus on from a whole class, and that there were 6 students that were especially low in those areas. I looked at it, and when we looked at it before, we decided that we would just focus on 4 students because 2 of the other ones were already getting some help in another area. So the data I said I would bring would be the checklists from Caring School Community that aligned to the self-awareness, and so I brought those to show you. I have them for, I hope to do 5 weeks of data collection from those checklists, but I was only able to do 3. I actually feel pretty proud of that. So I have those, and then I have the DESSA fulls on the individual students. So let me tell you what the whole class looked like and get some feedback on that. So the whole class checklist, I saw growth from the first week to yesterday when I did the last checklist. And I feel like what I'm doing with my intervention plan, using one of the some of the universal interventions from the EVO DESSA strategies section, I'm really focusing on specific vocabulary and social awareness, self-awareness, excuse me, is working, but we're not there yet, and we need to keep going. So I'm looking for ideas on how to integrate there more, and so my social emotional teaching isn't in isolation, that I can embed it more, whole class. So I'm going to continue what I'm doing and then looking for how to be more specific within the academics. Love input on that. And I decided I don't think I need to do the checklist weekly, but before the next SGC, I could do them 2 or 3 more times. So for the individual students, I brought the DESSA full on each, and what I found when I looked at the DESSA full is of the 4 kids that we decided to focus on, Jacob's fine. It wasn't his main area of need when we did the full, so I don't feel like he needs to be involved in this specific focus. But the other 3, the full DESSA confirmed that yes, they need additional intervention, and so the plan is to figure out what to do with them between now and the next time we meet. That would be, so I could pull small groups like I would with a writing group, our class time, and do some specific instruction with them, but I'm not sure yet what that is.
So I focused on 2 students at our fall SGC, John and Sarah, and they both had the same concerns for me with writing. And my concern was their grammar and sentence fluency was really low. So neither one of them used beginning of sentence or end of sentence punctuation. And it was also reflected in their MAP scores when they took their MAP test. John in particular had slid way back below his growth from last year, and so that's why they were students of concern for me. And so the interventions that I've done so far have all been in class. I've done mini lessons with the 2 of them, and then some one-on-one during our workshop time, once or twice a week. And I've also intentionally partnered them with students who are a little bit more advanced in this skill, and I've seen some success. I think I brought their more recent writing samples, and John's writing is looking like this now. So you're seeing the grammar improvement, but the sentence structure is still all the same, and ideally he would be writing in more of a paragraph style. And so that's what I'm thinking about for next steps. I want him building on this and moving it into a little more advanced structure. And so that was my goal for student, but I'm not really sure what next steps would look like. I have other students I think that I need to do more of that pull out one-on-one work with, and I'm wondering what's available for support for him in addition to just our one-on-one lessons.
So when we have mathematicians that are in our classrooms, we first pre-assess them using the Bridges unit pre-assessment. We can analyze that for then what standards do they already have mastery of, and then they don't need to sit through the lesson for that particular day. They need to do number corner with you always, but they don't need to be in the Bridges lesson. So instead of doing the Bridges lesson for that unit, the students could be doing concept quests, where they're getting experience with rich tasks. They could be doing Zooples or think tanks, which every classroom should have. It could be that you found an alternative extension from workplaces that are part of our Bridges curriculum, or something else that you've collaborated with other people about. And then of course at the end of the unit, you're going to assess again, just to confirm that there are no holes and gaps for those students.
In terms of helping our students who really need the extension, one of the suggestions I could make is looking at the Achieve the Core document. It's actually in our curriculum OneNote. And if you look at the Achieve the Core, I'm using fourth grade. If you just click this document and it should come up, it should look like this. So let's say we have a student who really needs the extension. They've gotten the basic, they've gotten the major clusters. What do we do? I think the next best thing to do is to look at the supporting clusters and additional clusters and exposing this kid, this student, to these supporting clusters and additional clusters. The reason behind this thinking is what research tells us. The supporting and additional clusters allow extended mathematical thinking. It's in the Common Core document. And if you look at everything that they're doing, the extension is based and will be based on additional clusters. So for example, fourth grade used the 4 operations with the whole numbers to solve problems. That's heavily embedded in Bridges. And let's say we have a student who really needs the extension. Now, really going deeply into the factors and multiples and having them or asking them to generate and analyze patterns would definitely extend their thinking.